Hey guys, what's up? Andre here again of cinema.com, and today a new update on the Guardians of the Galaxy line of hot toys. As you can see, Groot and Rocket. The cool duo from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and right out of the box I'm really impressed, and actually I got some problems to catch both figures in one picture because Groot is so much taller than Rocket. It's just cool to see those two standing next to each other. So stay tuned for this video review, and as usual we have a quick look at the box. Alright, so this is the MMS254, which means it's the set. It's the set of both figures. You can get them individually. If you get Rocket by himself, I think it's the 252, and Groot is the 253. Basically it's quite a large packaging with a nice print-on image of both characters in this cool action pose. And you will see some differences coming with this set that you don't get with the individual figures. But all in all, nice print art, but nothing special. I mean, it's just quite a tad larger than the other boxes that you usually get with Hot Toys, but I mean, it's obvious with Groot having such a substantial taller figure. Alright, and here we go. Both figures right out of the box. And first, of course, we have Groot, and then much lower we have Rocket. So this is quite a noticeable height difference, and let's start with Groot here because it's much easier. So let's have a close-up on his relaxed face, which looks amazing. I mean, the highlights in the eyes, there's a lot of shimmer going on. It's really cool, the wrinkling. It's just extremely well sculpted, I think, and it definitely catches the character. Then before we go into details of each figure, let's have a quick look at Rocket. Basically a mutated raccoon, I think. So quite a nice first impression as well. And I think next topic would be the accessories, and for both figures you get different stuff. For example, here with Rocket you get different feet. These are a bit more ankled, so you can do some other posing, and you have different paws. Some relaxed ones, fisted ones, and then of course the paws to, or hand to place the rifle in. Then as a little throw in for this set you get this potted Groot, Dancing Groot version. Quite a nice little accessory. And here's a major difference coming and looking at the different releases for the different markets. So for the Asian releases you didn't get the baby potted Groot, you only have this dancing potted Groot. And if you want to have the full set, you had to join the pre-orders for the Sideshow exclusive, because for the Sideshow exclusive you get another baby potted Groot, which is just an upright, like a very thin and small Groot. But all in all, quite a nice and iconic accessory for the movie, of course. So then continuing with the accessories of Groot himself. So for the collectible set of two figures you get this additional portrait with the angry, screaming sculpt, amazingly detailed. Then you get this natural power, glowing hand, shimmering hand. It has a bit of bendiness to it. Looks like an alien hand in a hand, like a xenomorph hand. And also available only in the special set are these two clutched grabbing hands, which look a bit more aggressive than the normal ones. So that's also quite cool and a nice throw in that you don't get with the single figure version of Groot. So next up I will show you some details for each figure, probably starting here with Groot again. Alright, here we go, just another close-up on this magnificent head sculpt. It looks so cool, his expression and his, what a bit harmless look in his face. it definitely fits the character like he was portrayed in the movie. So basically you have all the rotation you need, and you of course can take off this faceplate here. Then you have this knob or this other aggressive face sculpt, and this totally changes the character. Wow, so nice, so much emotion going on in this. A bit, well, in the end it's a bit of an awkward character, but a lot of people love him, and it had really some nice scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy involved with Groot and Rocket. It's definitely a cool thing, and if you go for this figure, you definitely have to go for a set, especially looking at the variation that you can get with this aggressive face. So let's continue on some more close-ups of the body, because it looks really awesome. I mean, basically it's like a wooden armor plating going on here. You see there are some small details like this branches coming out of his shoulder, right on his pecs here. So these are a bit flexible, not too much, but they are not hard plastic in the end. So let's turn Groot here. You can see a bit more of the backside. You see these roots going on here, all this downwards the spine. It has a really organic and live looking lasting effect, so that's quite nice, really nice. And of course you have a bit of articulation here on the torso area, actually quite a range of articulation, so it's not really hindered. You can almost do 180, I think, well, even more, so that's amazing. Looking at the arms, I think the arms are also quite articulated, and you can see they're massive, they're really massive. And also here the range of motion is magnificent, so you can actually pose him extremely well, I think. Then let's go down a bit on the leg area. So for the legs, as you can see, they're really massive, really like huge mammoth trees. It's so cool to see all these details now in figure, because in the movie, in the end, it may be the voice of Vin Diesel, but in the end it's just a digital character, and it's quite nice to have that you can hold something in hand and have it like a practical effect going on. I mean, look at these details here. It's crazy. So the articulation on the legs are also quite nice. These are fully rotatable here, and here's a special thing on the thigh area. You can slide them up like on the Iron Man figures to give you a bit more range of motion. But in the end it's really magnificent what you can achieve here in terms of articulation. Alright, and here, as you can see, I switched out the left forearm with this natural power glowing effect. So it gives a bit more color into the whole sculpt and figure. But in the end, really cool and very impressive. So then if you switch back to the normal portrait, this changes the vibe of the character completely, as you can see here. Now in a bit more, well, not so realistic pose with his own baby Groot in the pod, but whatever. So this is about what you could achieve by just changing the portrait of this character. And that's something that they call quite cool in the movie, and now Hot Toys recreated this perfectly in their figure. Then one special thing that you also get with the normal Groot figure, which is one pair of these hands actually have wires in it, so you can bend them and you can play a lot with different posing of these hand sculpts. So that's quite a nice thing actually. And it's good that you get those hands with the normal and regular version, I think. Alright, then of course we have this crazy raccoon, Rocket, holding the rifle up in the air. And this is also quite a cool character. I mean, I especially love the background, like this humiliated raccoon, genetically modified. And look at these whiskers, so nice. So it's really a little character in the end, but it totally fits the vibe of the movie, and it just is a cool extension of Groot, to have some cool and nice scenes in the movie. I didn't know about both characters in front of Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't even know that these characters existed in the Marvel Universe, but it's definitely a nice idea. And yeah, in the end, they really realized the cool figure here from this small, crazy, almost evil raccoon. So basically there's this orange outfit here, which has a bit of weathering going on, so like these gray stands, and it's like a gray dry brush going on over his suit, which is okay for me. I think some people had like negative or bad feedback on this. They had wanted like a clean orange one, but for me it's totally okay. I mean, at that scale and from a certain distance you don't even see it. So for Rocket you got of course a lot of articulation too. So these are the hands here, they articulate very well again, and you have quite a nice joint here on the elbow. These hand pegs are extremely small. I really hope that they can keep and won't break in the future. Then for the legs, they're a bit more restricted because of the suit here, so don't expect too much going like this, but at least a bit more if you want to turn it to the front and to the back. Also there's a knee joint, but all in all quite nice. I mean, look at these details on the leather, or I don't know if it's leather, I think this should be leather. But all these little details, these seams going on, it's really nicely stitched together, and just a very cool looking little evil raccoon. Also here on the back side you can see that's like a backpack with this blue orb or something in it. Would have been interesting if you could detach this this armor plating here, and if you could have see a bit more on the skin of Rocket, because I think in the movie where was in this washing scene you saw a lot of scars and damaged skin on his backside. So because of all the different experiments they did with him during the genetic modification, but that's definitely cool. So here a bit more close-up of the head sculpt. It's a nice grim, bit more aggressive, but really cool. It's all sculpted but nicely, very nicely painted. Oh, then just the tail fell off. So the tail is just in this ball joint here, and you can turn it 360 if you want to. So if you want to have a happy raccoon, do it like this. If you want to have a mean raccoon, do like this. So then a quick look at the rifle of Groot. As you can see, it's 4-barreled, and there's this cool scene where he extends this weapon, I think in the bar, where he had like a mental breakdown. Then of course there's a scope, nice details, really good painted in this bronze brown metallic look. And a bit of a drawback, but I think it's acceptable, is that you almost have no place to put the hand onto the handle. So it's probably better to just first place the hand and then attach it to the figure. Otherwise you will get into a mess. And the figure itself is almost as tall as the rifle. Let's have a look. So here with Groot on the left and his rival, which is almost the same size. So really cool. Alright, before I will show you the final pose with Rocket and Groot alone, I thought why not to throw in a short pose with the other Guardians of the Galaxy. So here on the right we've got Star-Lord, and on the left we've got Gamora added. And as you can see, this is definitely an epic display if you got all them together. As you can see on the base, these new designed bases are somehow like interconnecting with each other. So there are no real connecting pieces, but they can just be put together, and looks quite nice in the end. So it's definitely a cool look you're going for. And now the big question is, can we really expect Drax in the next few months? I think it's still unsure. I saw just a quick update recently on I think on a Hot Toys blog or something like this, that they're redesigning or resculpting the head sculpt, I think. Or maybe it was old news, so maybe somebody else has some info update on this. But for the moment it's quite cool. But I think for the full completion you really need to add drags here. So, and just a little note here, you get of course two stands that have the similar style like the earlier release Gamora and Star-Lord, but of course it's quite nice to see this. Rocket has such a small and tiny stand. He has even another size for the rod, where Rocket is just massive and huge. And the cool thing is now that you can actually, you get this connector piece. I will show it to you afterwards. So here's a connector piece where you can interconnect the two rods and stands rods and fit Rocket above Groot. So I will show this in the next scene here. Alright, and here's the finished money shot. So this is probably one of the most iconic poses in my 1/6 scale hobby history. You can't get it better. So this is the amazing duo Rocket and Groot, and here you can see how it works. So there's this intersection connection piece which gets one rod to the other one, and then you somehow have to place Rocket up there, which is probably a bit more on the challenging side, but I think there will be a lot of great poses in the community that will pose the hell out of this piece. So here's my try, not perfect, but I only used about 2 to 3 minutes for posing this. So if you invest a bit more time, you definitely can come up with a bit more natural poses on this one. But this is definitely the pose I will going for. If I find the space, I mean, this is now almost half, I would say it's about 40 centimeters. So about, well, 22 inches maybe. So quite a large piece. So yeah, that's my finished shot here for the video review. I hope you enjoyed it. Personally, I'm really happy with these two figures. There's really no quality control issue on this one, like on my last Hassle with Whiplash. No LED functionality, so you don't have this electronic wiring problems. It's all just a very clean release, really perfect. And for me, these two characters are really adorable, and they really got the tone and the feel and the vibe of this movie with these two characters. So a great addition. Now, value-wise, I think the 2-pack costs retail price in the United States about $360. If you want to get it day one from Hong Kong right now, you will pay about $100 more. I'm a bit undecided if it's really worth that. So it was like $450, a bit more even. But then again, it's quite a huge package with a huge amount for the shipping costs. So basically $100 more just to have it. Yeah, I would say, I mean, basically in the end we have it like 2 months earlier than the other countries. If it's worth that for you, I would totally go for this. And if you like these two characters, maybe even a bit more now after you have seen this video review, I would definitely invest that more dollar on this set. But you definitely have to go for the set, because these additional accessories are really making a difference, especially this aggressive portrait of Groot. So alright, I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, bye bye guys.